Good afternoon, everyone. We're going to start with a message from the coach, then we'll have student-athlete interviews, and followed by interviews with the coach. Coach?
Yeah, I was telling these guys while we were waiting that I looked up at one point and I thought, wow, this has got to be a really good TV game. I thought down the stretch, both teams made plays, one play after another, to keep it tied, take a 2-point lead, tie it up, take a 2-point lead. I just think they made one more play than us. As much as the offensive rebounds hurt us in key moments, the turnovers hurt us. When you look at the breakdown of the points off of those, it wasn't as significant as it sometimes felt. We did a good job of, even when they would get second opportunities, of getting stops. So I thought they made one more play than us tonight and made it at the right time. And, I think if Yaya's three goes in, we're maybe celebrating instead of, a really sad locker room. But really, really proud of this team, proud of their resilience, we started with Jana Van Geitenbeek going down the first game of the season. We had Bella go down at Oregon. We had to bring Aaliyah Matharo into the fold. We lost Bugs for a month. But these guys just kept clipping along. I think if Nettie had played the first half of the season like the last month of the season, she would have been on that All-American and maybe first team. That's how good she was down the stretch. And so it's hard to believe I won't ever be up on another one of these stages with Sarah Andrews because we've been here together a long time. So she's going to miss me, but I'll miss her more.
All right. Our first question. Jerry, do you have the first question?
Parker, go stand up first. Go ahead, Parker.
Parker Ream, Fox 44. Thank you, Jerry. Sarah, clearly the first question should go to you. What did your time at Baylor mean to you, and how important? Nicki said yesterday she doesn't know if you could live without Baylor.
Yeah.
Is that how you feel?
Coach Nicki can't live without me either. No matter how many headaches I give her. But no, my time at Waco, it's been a great 5 years. It was great fans. I met great people outside of basketball, in basketball. The culture here was just amazing, and just to be here for 5 years, I wouldn't want to do it no other way.
Jerry Hill, Baylor Bear Insider. Nettie, you were 5 for 5 in the first half, scored 10 points. Was there anything they did specifically to kind of limit your touches in the second half?
Not really. I mean, I think I could have just been more aggressive and posted up in better spots to keep getting the ball, but they weren't doing anything special.
Shaji Adam, ABC 25. Sarah, we were in the locker room. Bella, Bugs, everybody was talking so much about how much you influenced them, how much of an impact you had on them. What have the younger Bears on this team have meant to you?
They mean a lot. To think about that, I've basically watched them grow up from freshmen to juniors now it's really time for them to become seniors and be the leader of the pack. They were great when they came in. Each game, they surprised me because when they were freshmen, I felt like they were sophomores. They just got better each and every year. And just to watch that group grow up, I know they're going to hold that Baylor name well across their chest next year.
All right, Zach?
Zach Smith, Waco Trib. Sarah, you told me yesterday you expected this game to be a dogfight. Was that kind of the slugfest that you expected, and I guess could you have done anything different at this point?
That was exactly what I expected. Both teams fighting to go to the Sweet 16. The refs was going to let us play. You got to play through some of the fouls that they don't call and know that adversity hit. Even when they got some fouls that we thought weren't fouls, and we got some fouls too. Just knowing that it was a game to go to the Sweet 16, and that's what it was about.
And then Nettie, Nicki mentioned your growth over the second half of the season. I guess is this kind of what you expected when you came here? This kind of play and this All-American level performances.
Yeah, I mean that was definitely goals I had set for myself starting the season, just wanting to be as dominant as possible. Do I wish I could have started playing a little bit better earlier? Yes, but my main focus this last month was just to keep building, just keep working, and just keep excelling off of every game.
Sarah, after a couple of tough games here at home, shooting-wise anyway, how good did it feel just to make one? And then you and Jada, the way that y'all answered there in the last couple of minutes to keep tying up the game?
That's what it's about. You never stop shooting. You never know. The moment's never too big. We got great players on our team. It was about still taking those shots when those opportunities came, because if you turn it down, you never know if you're going to make it. So I think it was about us staying confident, knowing that the ball was going to go in. We're shooters. We shoot every day at the end of practice. So just knowing that the ball was going to go in sooner or later.
Sarah, just talking about this senior group as a whole, what have they meant to you, having so many seniors kind of leaving the program after this year?
They've meant a lot. I think, first of all, Nettie coming here and believing in us and wanting to play with me. I was one of the first people that talked to Nettie. Just her coming here and wanting to play with me was so huge to me, because I know that she was going to finish, and having a post like that, I knew it would be great together. Then Jada, her coming here was a great addition. We had a good backcourt. I think we were one of the best backcourts in the country. And then you add Yaya, and she got better throughout the season, and just accepting her role, because I think she could have went anywhere in the country and started, but she came here because she wanted to win. And Aaliyah coming here and being a few months with us, we embraced her and she embraced us. I think everybody, when you look at it, even Madison all the way to Jenna was supposed to be with this senior group. This senior group was amazing, and I wouldn't want to do it with nobody else.
Skylar?
Skylar Dixon with the AP. Sarah, Coach Joe also talked about what a great game she thought it was, and she mentioned that there were a couple of times you may have stared her down after hitting a bucket, and she loves that kind of stuff. I know you're disappointed now, but what's the appreciation level on a game like this and sort of the stage that this is, and you all put out a product like that?
I live for games like this. I get excited when you got a dog fight because it's great for women's basketball. It's a great game for TV. But it wasn't a stare down. I think it was just the moment of the game. When you're in a moment like that and you see the ball go in, I'm going to bring some energy. It's not too many times that I react like that, but it was just a fun game for me, knowing it'll be the last one in Foster. I was just excited to play basketball.
All right. Do we have any other questions from the floor?
Chad Vothering, KWTX. Sarah, as you leave Baylor behind now, kind of for next steps, if you're able to comment, I mean, do you see yourself trying to play or maybe even eventually be a coach? Has that ever kind of crossed your mind?
Yes, I do for sure want to keep playing, but when it's all said and done, I do want to be a coach one day. I might come back to Baylor. I gotta start with the little kids first, get a little experience under my belt, and then we're gonna work my way up. But college may be in the back of my mind when it comes to coaching. I don't know yet.
All right, Zach, you have some questions?
Nettie, can you talk a little bit about the Baylor experience and how special this group was, you coming in this year? What was it like overall?
I mean, with this being my third school, like, I can just confidently say that this has been, like, the most family dynamic that I've ever been a part of. It was just really special to be able to come every day and just be around people that truly, like, love and appreciate you and, want to pour into you and you can pour into them. It's just been more than I ever imagined it would be. My coaches are just an elite group of coaches, and, how far they were able to bring us. I'm just really happy that we were playing under them. So I'm very glad that I chose to come here, and I wouldn't change it for the world.
All right. Do we have any other questions from the floor? All right. If not, thank you.
Appreciate y'all.
All right. Do we have any questions for Coach Collen? 44? Oh, Jerry?
Come on, Jerry.
Nicki, the way that fourth quarter went, back and forth, I mean, they jumped out there with 6 points. Was there anything y'all could have done differently defensively in that fourth quarter?
Yeah, I mean, I thought we started the quarter getting them to take shots we wanted and not finishing with rebounds. And so I thought that impacted us early. We missed some ball screen coverage assignments. But, there were key points. We ball side helped off of Dean's, and she was the one kid, like, we were not going to help off of, and so I thought we made some mistakes that were not what we were supposed to be doing, and there's game slippage, and these are young people. But I thought we allowed Scott to get comfortable, settle into a pull-up. I mean, obviously she made the shot of the day in the tie game to take the 2-point lead there with under a minute. But, you know, we were supposed to trap that. We didn't. So we missed some defensive assignments. But I also think they made plays, you know. I thought Chinu was probably, to me, until the fourth quarter, had the biggest impact. You know, her length, her ability to stretch out and get to the rim. You know, I just thought she was really solid for them. She got Yaya in foul trouble. But we just, you know, Yaya's fourth foul was on a missed box out. You know, and not on her, you know, but I just think we had some key plays where we missed assignments.
Nicki, what does a season like this do for just overall support of the program? Bella talked about that in the locker room, just looking up and seeing all the fans in the stands. Do you think the back-to-back round of 32 appearances really aid in that?
Yeah, I mean, obviously, you know, last year we were playing in the Sweet 16, and, you know, I felt like this group of that first team had a bunch of pros on it, and we were just really, really talented. I think this team was just fun to coach. You know, seeing Nettie blossom down the stretch of the season, even today, seeing Sarah bounce back and hit her little step back side dribble three, like when she missed the three before halftime, I'm like, oh no, like that's vintage Sarah. You know, you give her that shot going into halftime, and I knew we were gonna have to manufacture points tonight. That's a really good defense, and their length bothers people, but. You know, I think when I was begging for fans early in the season because I thought they were missing out on the opportunity to cheer on an elite group of players, but an elite group of humans that really, really compete for the name on the front of their jersey. I was mad at Yaya for crying after she missed the three because I thought they called the timeout before the foul, and she had to say, "Coach, I fouled out." I'm like, no, you didn't, you know, because I didn't want her to be sad yet. Like, I just think that we play a fun style of basketball. And when the ball moves around and you see Jada attacking and you see Sarah hitting threes and you see Bugs doing her thing, like, I don't think people realize what we lost when we lost Bugs. I mean, she was a first-team All-League player that led us in scoring and rebounding when she went out. And she took this hard because she was back, but she still wasn't vintage Bugs. Like, she had her moments, but she had a cap of 20 minutes, you know? So I'm like, get her out, got to get her out, you know? And I don't ever worry about getting Bugs out. So, yeah, I'm just grateful that down the stretch, when it mattered the most, that the community really got behind us and cheered this team on because I think they played really hard, and they played really hard for the name on the front of their jerseys.
All right. 44.
Coach, you talked about how much Sarah means to you, but can you kind of touch on it again? And what's kind of the first memory that pops up when you think of Sarah?
Okay, so true story. I don't know who Sarah Andrews is. When I took this job, I mean, I had seen a roster, but Paul Bradshaw, when he went over that roster with me on the interview, did not put who was in a boot and who was in a sling and who was coming back from a knee surgery. And I came for my press conference and found out Sarah had labrum surgery and Queen was in a knee brace and Jaden was in a boot. And, you know, it was like they'd all had these like postseason procedures. So my first memory of Sarah was in a sling, and I had a coaching colleague that knows me pretty well tell me, I don't think Sarah Andrews is your kind of point guard. I think it probably wasn't until August when she was starting to get to do more that I thought, you have no idea what I like if you don't think I like Sarah Andrews. Because I think before Sarah's foot problems, plural, like you could get that like every night, like the burst. Like she lost her burst, that she had. And I think this year was a really special year for her because I think what she learned in year 5 was how to play and be effective in, with the limitations she had. I think last year she was still trying to be what I always referred to as sophomore Sarah. She was trying to be that last year, and she physically couldn't do the things that she had done. And I think she learned. I think she learned to lead. I think she learned that she could be that person that got the ball to Nettie and was effective. I think, she could be an elite defender of certain type of players and keep us in games like she did against Grand Canyon, taking the 3 away. So Sarah has been a pain in my rear, but in the best possible way. I know she loves me. I know, and she knows I love her. But I think sometimes, she's a little frisky. And, I always joked with her that, I knew we would have true maturity when she was mad at me, that she would walk in my office and not subtweet and post stories on her DM. And I'd be like, oh, Sarah's mad at me again. Call her in, we'd talk about it, we'd move on, so she got a lot better at that in year 5. So we made some progress.
All right, Zach?
Coach, do you feel like this year you kind of put your fingerprints on Baylor as a program more than any other past years? I think, more returners than starters or newcomers, and Sarah was the only person that you didn't recruit here. And, do you feel more ingrained at Baylor after a year like this?
No. I think that first year, we turned the roster over in a year because you have to. This is the day and age of, that was a senior group. We returned Jaden and Sarah, from that first year's team really, but losing Jordan and Queen and Liz. I guess we had Caitlin. But I've embraced every team and tried to make it mine. But also theirs. I think that's the thing about coaching that I get the most pleasure out of is figuring out the dynamic of each team and putting them in actions that they can be successful in. And it's really funny because, people referred to Baylor as kind of post-U. You hear all the time, at least on the women's side, that Notre Dame is guard you because they had Enrique and Skylar and, now Hidalgo and Miles. And but Baylor, when Coach Mulkey was here, was very post-U. They were in on the top recruiting class, post kids every single year because they played through the post. They didn't shoot a lot of threes, all of that. And so it was amazing how quickly people were like, Nicki doesn't know how to coach a post player. And I would hear that on the recruiting trail, and I would hear that in people's homes. And I guess I can coach a post player. Nettie's pretty good. And I think, she had 37 when we needed her to have 37. And I think that, my joy in the game is figuring out how each team can be great. And each team is different. So what this year's team looked like won't look the same as next year. And I'm always very, very careful in the locker room to not, start talking about next year. Because that locker room is about this year. It's about this team. It's about that group that's never going to be in the locker room that way ever again and look exactly like that. But next year's team's going to look different. Bugs and Bella are going to be different, and we're obviously going to go out and get in the portal like everybody else in the country. Everybody's rosters are veteran, except maybe Iowa State. You look around the country, how many seniors that, I think I was watching a game of their graphic and their average starting lineup age was like 23 years old. And that's how it is right now. So, I think every year my imprint is that we're going to play hard. We're going to take what the defense gives us. We're going to play to our best matchups. We're going to play hard. And we're going to have some fun. Like, I was really calm today. I just felt like this team, that environment, they needed me to be calm and down to the last play. I'm like, Bella, you're going to attack. Yeah, you're going to hit this 3. And I think she was a little excited about shooting that 3. So, but yeah, I mean, I think I've had my imprint on this program since the minute I got to Baylor, because I'm not trying to be anybody but me. And I would fail miserably if I tried to be anybody but me. So I'm going to have 2 long-winded answers. I'm not going to say we just have to rebound. I'm going to tell you what scheme we used. I'm going to tell you what we need to do better. Like, I'm going to give away the game plan, because if any coach is worth what they're being paid in today's environment, they're going to scout and know what they need to do, And so, that's me. Like, I'm going to say too much. I'm going to wear my emotions on my sleeve. I'm going to love these kids. And I'm just going to do my best day in and day out to be a good representative of Baylor. And we're different. Like, we're really, really different at Baylor. And sometimes I have to watch my tongue. Juliana knows that. I came from a league where you didn't have to hold your tongue. So, I'm not up here talking about the officiating or the 6 fouls called in the entire second half. I'm not talking about that.
I guess I wanted to ask about Nettie as well. Like, what was it like to coach her? Coming into this year, it seemed like she was kind of the piece that you needed, and for the last month, she really played like it. Like, what did she add, both as a player and as a person, to this group?
The unique challenge of the portal is it takes time for every kid to acclimate. It just does. Even Haley Van Lith, who's playing out of her mind right now, played better in February than she did in November for TCU. The confidence just grew and grew and grew. And I think Nettie has, the thing about Nettie that's so infuriating and at the same time so special is she has no idea how good she is. And if she believed in herself half as much as the people around her believe in her, she would be an All-American. Like, she has elite hands, elite feet. She can jump. She can dunk. She can block shots. When she makes up her mind to do something, no one can stop her. It's just her making up her mind that that's what she wants to do every possession. And she had to find her way. Like, not every human being, not every basketball player is built to dominate. Like, is built to, like, have that mindset. Not every, you hear it, but you hear it less now. Anyone who knows me knows that from the age that my parents put me in my first competitive sport, I hated to lose. Like, I was a sore loser for a really long time because I just hated it that much. And then in high school, I had to learn really quickly that if I smiled and ran the ball and handed it to the officials and flashed my dimples at them, that I had a better chance to get a call the next time than if I blew them up and got mad all the time. But, like, I had to grow that way. I had to grow in my handling of my competitiveness and how that comes out. A lot of people don't understand how competitive I am because I can walk into a room and be a humble loser and appreciate what Ole Miss did today and how hard they played and the plays that they made. But Nettie is just elite. And if she continues to play that way, she's going to make a lot of money playing this sport. And I hope that she falls in love with it. Because you can't make people fall in love with the work. You can't make them fall in love with the game. Some of these kids are just good at basketball, or they're, but if she decides to love it, I mean, I would draft her. I've been in those draft rooms. I would draft her. I think she has a chance to get a lot better. I wish I had her longer. I just wish I had her longer because if I had her another year, it'd be a wrap.
Coach, you talked about how next year Bella and Bugs are going to be different. What do you want them to take away from this senior class and what this season was?
I don't know if it's. I think both of them found their voice. They had Bugs has been a captain for 2 years. She was a captain as a sophomore. This team needed Bugs' voice. They needed Bugs' energy. So I don't think it's about necessarily the seniors. I think it's about wanting to leave her legacy and to take this program further than it's been since she's been here. So to me, when I look at those two kids that were a part of our first recruiting class, it's more about what are you going to do to help us sign teammates? What are you going to do to improve your ball handling? So we turn the ball over less, because I think they can both be elite with their versatility, but we got to cut down on turnovers. Bella this year struggled from the foul line. She's too athletic. She's too capable of getting to the foul line to not own the line, and she's a good enough shooter. So I think it's to me, it's more about they know what we want. They know what the expectations are. They know what to expect. They knew what to expect in practice more than most of our seniors and our new guys, So it's about them owning the leadership role. It's about them wanting to be in the gym and get others in the gym with them. I think that's the big part is Sarah knew, when I think about our senior class, it was such a variety. Sarah's the only one that knew all the time what I wanted and can read between the lines, Jade, I was still teaching what I wanted. Sarah could look at me and go, I know, she knew before I said it whether that was a good decision or not. And so I think it's that for those two. It's just owning the leadership, but also coming into being more of Bugs was first team all conference, but, I think Bella can grow and be a first team all conference player next year.
All right, do we have any more questions from the floor? One question back there.
Zoe Del Rosario, KC, and Coach, I wanted to take it back to the game. You played very physical teams back to back, only 1 day of rest. Do you think that played a factor in today?
It probably helped them that they subbed more in their first game. There's no question. Sarah and Jada played a lot of minutes in both games, but we were able to play 3 games in 3 days and then play a lot of minutes last weekend. So I think when you get to this point, they're young. They still have young legs. They don't think they do. But, I think the adrenaline, what you're playing for, what the opportunity in front of you. Sarah didn't look like she had tired legs on her late finish that should have been an and 1. She didn't look tired there to me. Jada made plays late. She made her pull up late. So now I think Nettie got banged on. I think they were hitting her hard. And there was a lot of reaching going on late. But, I think our league, everyone's going to talk about the physicality of the SEC. But when you look at the Crooks and the Lees and the Sedonas and you look at what the gauntlet that we went through, the Big 12 was not a finesse league this year. And so because of that, is Utah more finesse? Yes. West Virginia isn't finesse, So I think from that perspective, we missed a 3, we missed a wide open 3. But no, I think we made some schematic decisions wrong, and I think we missed some shots, And, they shot 10 more free throws than us.
All right, any more questions from the floor? If not,
We fouled him at the end too. It would have been closer. We purposely fouled him at the end. And I love Tim Green, so it's not like, and he warned me in the first game. But anyway, thank you.
thank you, Coach.